After violent protests in Nepal, now the France is burning. Protesters have blocked roads, set ablaze, and were met with volleys of police tear gas today on September 10th in Paris and elsewhere in France. Protesters seeking to heap pressure on President Emmanuel Macron by attempting to give his new Prime Minister a baptism of fire. At least 200 people have already been arrested by French authorities. French patriots have flooded the streets, waving flags demanding Macron's resignation and France's exit from the European Union. The protests have been triggered by growing political instability. Prime Minister François Bayrou was ousted following a confidence vote, prompting President Emmanuel Macron to appoint Sébastien Lecornu, his fifth Prime Minister in under 2 years. This rapid turnover has fueled public anger and frustration. With no solid parliamentary majority and rising political fragmentation, many citizens feel the government is incapable of effective governance. The protests are organized under the Bloquons Tout movement, which opposes Bayrou's proposed austerity-driven 2026 budget. The budget proposed slashing 40 to 44 billion in public spending, including cuts to pensions, healthcare, and the removal of national holidays. These measures are seen as threatening social welfare and disproportionately burden working and middle-class citizens. Broader discontent with Macron's leadership is another reason. The movement, originally driven by right-wing factions, has broadened to include left-wing and far-left supporters, drawing parallels with the 2018 Yellow Vest protests. Demonstrators argue the system is broken and demand structural change. What form are the protests taking now? Demonstrators launched a Block Everything campaign on September 10th, aiming to disrupt daily life with blockades, strikes, and civil disobedience across major cities such as Paris, Nantes, Montpellier, Bordeaux, Toulouse, Marseille, and Lyon. Protests involved setting fires, burning rubbish bins, and attacking infrastructure, including buses and rail systems. Authorities arrested dozens, ranging between 75 to nearly 200 individuals, and the last report said more than 200 people were being arrested, and mobilized roughly 80,000 security personnel, including 6,000 in Paris alone. Inside story of the French protest is revealing. Macron's weak position is one of the main reasons. Emmanuel Macron won re-election in 2022 but lost his parliamentary majority. Since then, he has struggled to govern, relying on fragile coalition and frequent cabinet reshuffles. In just 2 years, 5 prime ministers changed, which is a sign of chronic instability. The public sees this as a proof that Macron is clinging to power but losing control day by day. People are questioning why austerity now? France's debt is ballooning, which is about 110% of the GDP. Under European Union rules and investor pressure, Paris must show a credible plan to cut the spending. Bayrou's 2026 budget with 40 to 44 billion in cuts was meant to reassure Brussels and markets. But these cuts hit symbols of French identity, pensions, healthcare, and even national holidays, instant public outrage. Cross-ideological range was another reason. The protests are unusual. Left-wing unions and far-right activists marching for the same cause. Far-left frames it as capitalism crushing workers. The far-right frames it as EU and global elites destroying France's sovereignty. The middle class joins in because austerity touches everyday life, holidays, retirement, movement of 2018-19. Amid protest footage, these are many social media accounts that say Islamist and far-right activists target a Catholic bookstore in Nantes, claiming it a fascist for selling the Bible, Christian books, and statues of Jesus and Mary, and some are also hoisting the Palestinian flags on the street amid the protests. So what is going on? That is beyond imagination. South at the core, students and Gen Z groups are turning up in large numbers. Their grievance is no stable jobs, high cost of living, and a political class they see as a corrupt or disconnected. They are digitally savvy, using social media swarms to organize flash blockades and spread viral protest content. Hidden foreign angles is also being presumed. The protests are genuinely homegrown. Intelligence service believe Russian disinformation networks are amplifying protest hashtags, memes, and videos to inflame divisions. Some fringe far-right groups with ties to Moscow are involved, but the unrest would still exist without foreign meddling. It is just being magnified by geopolitical gain. If it is the case, the deeper story, if we talk about, this isn't just about one budget, it's about a collapse of trust in institutions. People think politicians rotate, but politics stays the same. Macron's elite technocratic style feels disconnected from ordinary struggles. France's cherished welfare state model is being chipped away, feeding fear that we are losing the way of life. Protesters want more than scrapping austerity. They want a new political settlement. Former French President Marine Le Pen says French patriots announced massive nationwide strikes on September 10th, demanding new elections after Macron's government collapse. France belongs to the French, out with Macron. The divide is no longer between the left and right, but between patriots and globalists. So what is the future of France? That is unpredictable at the moment. But thanks for watching National Defense Story. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.